Hi, everybody. Welcome to Quarantine Parenting. My name is Dr. Courtney Pegram, and I am excited to be here today. I have a wonderful guest, and I can't wait till she tells us all about nutrition and how to keep us fit and healthy and full, and I have so many questions for her. Her name is Hannah, and she owns Nutrition That Fits. She has a private practice, and I want you to tell her, I want you to listen of all the stuff she has to offer and hear more about her amazing practice. So Hannah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, yeah, I'm Hannah, and I am a registered dietitian and diabetes educator in Chicago. Quarantining it here with the rest of you guys and excited to share today.
Well, thank you. So I had a lot of parents request for like tips and tricks to help their teenagers eat healthy, make better choices during quarantine. What is some advice that you have for us parents as far as managing nutrition during quarantine?
Yeah, when it comes to, I definitely understand that as a mom. I don't have teenagers, but I do have a 4, 9, and 12-year-old who are constantly eyeing the snack stash, that we have. And I think that one of the most important things that you can do is control your environment. And so what I mean by that is just kind of control what you have an abundance of in your space, So I think it's really okay to enjoy maybe more indulgent foods, but just controlling access to those items, or maybe control isn't the right word, but making sure that the foods that you have in front of you are on the healthier side the majority of the time. And then that way you can kind of fully enjoy those more indulgent foods when you have them, occasionally. So, one of the things I like to do at home is create a snack tray. So we have it's a tray that has lots of different compartments. It can just be any old tray, but putting out lots of different things on there might be a mixture of like almonds and fruit and crackers and hummus, lots of different things we put on there. And we'll find that if it's out, or even boiled eggs, sometimes we'll put on there. If it's out, people will just kind of walk past and grab those healthier items as opposed to going and rummaging through their cabinets in the fridge for something else. And what's also really cool is that sometimes when you put things out like that, things that you don't normally even reach for, you'll find yourself reaching for them because they're out. Your environment gives you a lot of cues. So for those reasons, it's really important to have some of those healthier foods in front of you. Another really great idea for right now, for the times that we're in, would be to involve your children in the meal planning and even the cooking more these days. So, when it comes to teenagers especially, they're moving into that part of life where they're going to be making a lot more choices about their food and establishing a lot more independence. So it's a great time to talk to them about what healthy eating looks like and to involve them in the process of saying, hey, what do we want to do for breakfast, lunch, and dinner this week? Let's kind of sit down and map this out. And if they have some suggestions, don't shoot them down. Just say, okay, what can we put with that, to improve that meal or make that a little bit healthier.
Ooh, I love what you just said, to not shoot them down, but to add in what can we add? What are some other ideas? I feel that's empowering the teenagers.
Yeah, absolutely. And you want them to feel, the whole idea is to help them feel empowered and encouraged, right? So the fact that they're participating in that conversation at all, is still a great thing. So we don't want, we definitely want to keep that conversation going. And I think the more you do that, you'll find that they'll start to come to the table with their own ideas, and look forward to cooking together. So that's really cool as well.
Oh, so yeah. So I think that, again, it comes back to like empowering our teenagers to make choices. But I love what you said about the environment. So setting the environment up for success, having the snacks out, because I agree, if something's out, I'm more likely to grab it than like actually it's there. It's so easy.
Yeah.
What else, like as far as us parents, like, what are some things that we can do to set the example when it comes to healthy eating? What are some things that we could start putting into place as we're closing off quarantine, but we're also going to still be at home with our kids because of homeschool?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. There's so many things that we as parents can do. I mean, number one, just setting the example of nourishing yourself properly throughout the day, right? Waking up, getting that breakfast habit, really strong. so that your children can follow suit. Try not to go more than 3 or 4 hours without eating, and displaying that so that your children can see that as a habit and start to get in that routine as well. The reason that's really important for quarantine is because, the way that hunger works is, we think about hunger in terms of being like full or empty, but actually there's a really significant hormonal shift that's happening when we're hungry. And so our hunger hormones are kind of increasing, every minute or hour that we go without eating. We may not even notice it until we take that first bite. And I say it's like letting the floodgates open, sometimes if you've gone too long. So one thing, the major thing right there is timing. Also being really good about hydration, displaying that, having a big bottle that you refill a few times a day, getting some for your children as well. Another really important thing that isn't necessarily related to what you're eating, but just displaying the right attitudes about food. Talking about, I really want to try something new, or this is, healthy foods, talking about how good they are, but also being really careful, especially like for some of us who may have put on a little weight during this time or whatever, being careful about what sort of like language you're putting out there about yourself. So that, because I see so many people who picked up negative self-images of themselves from language that they heard their parents speaking, maybe not even in relation to the child, but just in relation to themselves, but they hear that. So I think that's another really important thing too, is just using positive language. I really don't say, I'm getting so fat, or I just really don't like the way my body looks. Just be like, you know what, I really feel like I just want to be more active. I'm really feeling like I want to try to focus on making some better choices this week. Using positive language is really important.
I love that strategy. I think it's really important, especially, I think as parents, we need to hear it, because whatever we say, our kids hear,
Yeah.
And they identify with us. They want to be like us, or they look like us, or people tell them that they're just like us. So if I'm going to sabotage myself and say negative things about myself, then my kid's going to pick up on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the opposite is true as well. So, and we're spending so much time together these days. So it's it just kind of underscores the importance of that.
Yeah. I really want you to share more about intuitive eating.
Mm-hmm.
I hear that word, it's almost like a buzzword, but I mean, I know that's some of your areas of expertise. So please share with us, what is that, and like, how can we learn more about it?
Yeah, I think intuitive eating, the best way that I could describe it, and I'll go into more detail, is that it's an approach to eating that really is based on a foundation of trust. And so what do I mean by that? I mean trusting your body. So when we're younger, right? If you think about a toddler, you really don't see many toddlers who have a problem with stopping eating when they're full. If anything, we're getting frustrated with them because they won't, they're like, no, I'm done. I know there's only one bite left, but I'm done, right? Even if it's their favorite meal. Somehow when we become adults, we lose touch with that internal regulation of eating, but it is very much still present because the system that regulates that is still there. So that's why I say it's built on a foundation of trust. And so part of that is, rejecting the idea that you have to be, on a diet, because anything that you're on, then at some point you go off of it. So it's not about being on a diet. It's just about nourishing yourself, making good choices, seeing food as an opportunity to nourish yourself, and making peace with food, as another term that we'll use, is that, kind of removing that sense of tug of war with the food. And so some of the ways that we do that, are number one, recognizing the voices that we have around food. We say like challenging the food police, whether that be internal or external. So external food police, definitely kind of putting those people in their place, and trusting your journey, your relationship in the relationship you're building with food, but also internal. Like we instead of placing judgment around food, it's really important to learn how to become what I call like a neutral observer. It's not my term, it actually is from the book Intuitive Eating. But what that means is, okay, so let's say I just like made like a lemon pound cake and I ate a third of it. Okay, that happened, right? So why? Why did it happen? When was the last time I'd eaten before that? Was I feeling stressed? understanding why you made that decision, just so that you can learn from it and just move on and let it go, right? So that you understand that for future reference. So that's a big part of it. And then also going back to trusting our bodies, just understanding, getting more in touch with the feelings of like fullness and satisfaction, noticing what fullness feels like, slowing down that whole eating process so you can see like when you really are getting full. Also, what foods really satisfy you versus what foods don't. So just becoming a lot more attuned with those sorts of things are some of the most important principles of intuitive eating. And also dealing with the emotional eating, under recognizing if that's an issue, emotional eating, and thinking about other ways of coping with those emotions. A couple other things, principles would be respecting your body. So, respecting and appreciating the body that you have and not being down on your body, so that, because in turn that makes you want to take care of it better, cherishing your body. Exercising because you like the way movement feels, not because it's some way punitive, sorry, and just honoring your health overall. Again, it's just the final principle of that.
Wow. I mean, that just spoke so much to me. And especially with the work I do with teenagers, I feel like as parents, we really need to teach our kids about intuitive eating.
Yeah.
It's all about trust. I love what you said about like fullness and satisfactions. When do you feel satisfied and full?
Yeah.
And like removing those negative emotions with guilt and shame around food.
Yes.
I mean, especially with the teens that I work, when I work in girls groups, the challenge they have with respect with their body and how that plays into nutrition. It's like, I mean, I was like nodding. I'm like, yes, this is amazing. So thank you. Thanks for telling me that.
And definitely in your field, I mean, that, shame and guilt really never served as a long-term or a good motivator for anybody, right? Maybe it's short-term motivation, but in the long term, it really is the positive motivation that really works and sticks and helps people keep going at whatever they're trying to work on.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Like, I think that it's really important to like address that. And I like how you separated it so that we can really see clearly like what's going on. The example of the cake was critical. Like, how was I feeling? Why did I do that? Was I stressed? And us actually being intentional about how we feel when we're eating, I feel is really important.
Yeah. And definitely, working with a dietitian can be a way to kind of explore some of those choices and why they're made, but it's also something that you can do on your own, maybe kind of journaling. This is a choice I made today. Didn't feel very good about it, but here's what I think may have led to it. Just kind of spending some time in that space and sorting it through, and even signing off with some kind words, even in your own journal, I think is important.
I like that. I like that too. Because I think positive affirmations and like fullness and satisfaction emotionally can really help us the way we choose to eat and the choices we make around food.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as we're wrapping up, what are some things, like some takeaways or some ideas that you want to leave us with as parents for our teenagers?
Yeah, I mean, I think probably the first thing I would say is, number one, pat yourself in the back right now. I mean, what everyone is doing right now, but especially parents, is really truly incredible. Maybe recognize this is an area that you want to work on, but also recognize all that you're doing right now, and and how impressive that is. And then I would say also, see this time as an opportunity and decide where you want to start. Start wherever you are. Choose a starting point for yourself or a goal that's very realistic. You can know that a goal is realistic, I say, if you kind of say on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely am I to do this without resistance? If it's anything less than a 7, choose a different starting point, okay? And then just kind of start wherever that is. Whatever your goal is, any incremental progress is helpful. And I think also just, I can't skip out on talking about immunity right now. It's really important to stay hydrated. I'm telling everybody right now, definitely take the vitamin C, 1,000 milligrams a day, take the zinc. do all those things, echinacea tea, all those things are really great. And also just get lots of rest. Get lots of rest and take care of yourselves.
Oh, good. I love that. I love how you tied in also the vitamins and zinc and echinacea, because I think that sometimes we forget about those supplements and how they can really have a positive impact on our bodies.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Huge.
Oh, so if I wanted to find you, because I mean, I was watching this, I'm like, you're amazing. How do I
Oh,
contact you? How would I reach you?
so you can find me on my website, nutritionthatfits.com. And I'm doing remote sessions right now, which is actually a lot of fun because people can take me in their kitchens while we're talking. So that's the best way to reach out. I don't post as much on Instagram or social media right now, but I am out there. But the best way is always through my website.
Oh, perfect. So I will make sure that the website is posted on the YouTube channel and then with all your information, because I think as a parent, I would love to have you in my kitchen with me.
I'd love to be there with you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. So again, thank you. And we're so excited to share the strategies. I'll make sure that I list everything and then in the YouTube channel. And then on top of that, I'll write an article so that we have access to your information anytime.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Bye.